Hi, I'm Sandy. I'm with the Dwight Foster Public Library, and I wanted to share an author with you today. Her name is Jean Kwok. Her first novel was Girl in Translation. This was written in 2010. It's about a young girl named Kimberly and her mother, who are immigrants from China. They moved to the United States from Hong Kong. Kimberly's mother was a musician in Hong Kong, and in New York she works in the sweatshops. And Kimberly goes to school during the day and has to help her mom at night. And this is a story of Kimberly navigating these two worlds. She's very bright and is able to test into a elite high school, and does exceptionally well. And so we follow these two women in their world of poverty. It's shocking to see how they live. The little bitty apartment has no heat. We're talking about New York City in winter, with ice inside the windows, and some don't even have glass panes, and they use the stove to keep themselves warm at night. They're rats and cockroaches. It's dreadful. So Kimberly then has to choose which world she will live in. And the author does a wonderful job of sharing the challenges of living in poverty and also the challenges of learning English. We can see the eloquence and articulate Ma through her thoughts in her native language. And then as she speaks English, her challenges. And Jean was asked what motivated her to write this novel, and she said she wrote it for her mother. Her mother sacrificed everything for her children. This is really much about Jean's own personal story. She and her siblings, she's the youngest of 7, immigrated to the United States from Hong Kong when she was just 5. So they actually lived this life of poverty and working in the sweatshops to make ends meet. Jean found her way out of poverty through education. She was brilliant and able to get into one of those elite public high schools, which then helped her to get into Harvard. And she worked her way with 4 jobs through Harvard and then through Columbia University, and got her Master of Fine Arts degree. And I really respect this author and her mother. And another novel that I've just started reading right now, or recently, is Mambo in Chinatown. And this novel is again an immigrant family, 2 daughters that live with their father in Chinatown. The father is a noodle maker. And the daughter, Charlie, the oldest, is about 22, and she's the dishwasher in the restaurant. And she is always encouraged by her younger sister, Lisa, who wants her to, find another job and get out of the kitchen. And she finds her an ad for a ballroom dance school receptionist. And Charlie applies for the job and actually gets it. And so now we see Charlie being exposed to more of the Western world. She's out of Chinatown, but she has to hide this life from her father. So we see this internal tug between the two worlds, the Western and the Eastern world. And this is really a fun read. And I learned that Jean Kwok was actually a ballroom dance teacher between her graduation from Columbia and after her graduation from Harvard and before she got into Columbia. She worked for 3 years as a dance instructor, and she found that very transformative experience, and found that she was very graceful. She said growing up in poverty, there is no money for extracurricular, and so she didn't get to do some of these things until she was in college, but this was an experience that transformed her, and we see that same transformation in Charlie in this novel. So I think you'll enjoy that. Her most recent novel is Searching for Sylvie Lee. Searching for Sylvie Lee is a mystery. This is another immigrant family, 2 daughters Sylvie, the eldest, is brilliant, beautiful, competent, articulate, and the younger daughter, Amy, is very shy and timid. And Sylvie goes missing, and the story is following the search for Sylvie Lee, and Amy has to take this on. Amy, our timid protagonist, and her parents can't do it. They don't speak enough English. So we follow these women and learn more about them and their secrets and mysteries in their own lives. So this is an excellent novel, and I often am able to predict the end in a mystery, and you can't with this. Every time I thought, oh, I know what's going to happen, I was wrong. So this is going to be a fun read for you. The author is working on a novel right now. She said it's a psychological thriller. So that'll be fun to read. I wanted to mention about this novel too that she wrote this because she herself had to search for a loved one when her brother went missing. He didn't show up for a Thanksgiving in 2009, I believe, and they had to figure out where Kwok was. And tragically, Jean learned through hacking his email that he had been flying a plane from Texas to Virginia, and the plane crashed in a storm. So she writes about this search and quest for understanding their loved ones, and you see that in this novel. So I wish you happy reading. Jean says she has a compulsion to write. Well, we have a compulsion to read.